So I think one of the best things we can do for optimal health now and in the future is hyper-nourishment. You have that green smoothie, your blender every day and keep up health. There are some people who struggle with adding it to their diets originally or initially because of the damage that's been created to their gut long-term by their other diet.
What's a downside for me to try this diet alongside with the medicine that I'm being prescribed by my MD?
There's no downside in terms of your health, really. I mean, when you are doing something like hyper-nourishment, you're optimizing the nutrients that go to your cells. So you're going to optimize their ability to repair themselves. You'll optimize your immune system. There is no downside. In fact, for those of us who've been doing it a long time, I still hyper-nourish. And over time, it actually continues to not just improve cellular function, keep you having a fast metabolism, but also reverses aging, and not only aging of your internal organs, but external organs like your skin. Your hair starts to grow like a weed, so it's, there's no downside. I think people should always hyper-nourish, right? We have so much that affects our inflammation levels, not just our diets, but our lifestyles, the amount of stress we're under, poor sleep, barely moving around much. We're sitting in our chairs all day in the office. So we have all these different factors that create inflammation in the body and inflammatory diets. So I think one of the best things we can do for optimal health now and in the future is hyper-nourishment. You have that green smoothie, your blender every day and keep up health. There are some people who struggle with adding it to their diets originally or initially because of the damage that's been created to their gut long-term by their other diet. So if you have eaten a diet of inflammatory foods and meat and dairy and all these things, the gut bacteria that you have prefer your diet. You have bacteria that survived because they prefer your current diet. So if you suddenly change over to eating tons of raw vegetables instead of burgers and fries, you might actually find you have gut distress. You're bloated, you're gassy. And so sometimes people will go, oh, that's not for me. It made me gassy. Gassy is not a disease that you got to worry about it, right? But the fact that your gut doesn't know how to process the nutrients it needs is a problem. So sometimes we need to, take our time with some things. They have to eliminate the inflammatory foods. They have to work their way up to higher doses of those vegetables. But it's so that's one thing. Some people, they have had so little fiber in their life. And fiber is essential. They've shown fiber is not just important for bowel movements, but they've even found that in mice, fiber alone can cure them of mice lupus, right? Fiber is important. So fiber is essential to our health, our heart health, our gut health, even our immune system. And many people never eat any at all. A piece of lettuce on your burger is not doing it. So they are so weak. Your intestines actually have muscles that help push things along. But if you've just let meat putrefy in your gut and you haven't had any fiber to keep it strong, the gut can get so weak that when you add fiber, you get bloated and constipated, when really fiber should make you go, right? But some people, it makes them constipated instead. And so I have to work on increasing the strength of their bowel by moving more slowly. But still, the goal is the same. You should be able to eat these foods, these raw vegetables and all these things because your body needs it, but you got to work out more to get yourself to the level that you can do it. Most people find you add something like green smoothies, you have glorious bowel movements. They're green, they're regular, your energy goes up, your health gets better, cholesterol comes down, blood sugar gets better. I mean, it's really amazing how quickly those things get better. But you might have to be a bit bloated and gassy for a couple months while your gut kind of gets used to it. So I find the downside is mostly just the adjustment in the gut for most people. There are some people I have to adjust it for too who have medical reasons why they can't handle nourishment. So like with kidney failure, once your kidneys are no longer functional, or barely functional, you can't metabolize nutrients in the same way like potassium, sodium, or water intake. So I have to adjust the program to the maximum nutrition they can handle, which would be lower than regular hypernourishment, but as much as they can handle. Not because there's something wrong with the food, but because their organs aren't properly functioning. So I do have to make adjustments. I recommend people do work with me when they have organ failure because you got to get it right and we got to make sure that you can handle what you get. But for most people, it's only going to be benefit.